Okay, today's homework, lesson 13, is using benchmark fractions to assess the reasonableness of adding and subtracting fraction problems. So today in class we talked about what a benchmark fraction is, and that we use them to help us figure out if our answer is correct or reasonable or not. So I'm going to do 1A first from their homework book. 1/2 plus 4/9. So in class we talked about how if you have 1/2 and 4/9 is very close to 4/8, but it's less than 4/8. We know that 1/2 plus 1/2 equals a whole, but since 4/9 is less than 4/8, your answer is going to be less than 1. 2E. 2E, 1/5 plus 1/4. Well, this is pretty close to 1/4, which is a benchmark fraction. This is 1/4. We know that 1/4 plus 1/4 is 2/4. So when you add these two together, you would get 2/4. But since this one right here is less than 2/4, your answer is going to be less than 1/2. All of 1 and all of 2, they just have to circle what they think the answer is most reasonable. And number 3, they're looking for a greater than, less than, or equal sign. So we talked in class about adding the whole numbers first, which in this case would be 7. We know that 4/5, which is very close to a whole, and 2/3, which is very close to a whole. When you add those together, you would get 1 whole. Actually, you would get almost 2 wholes when you add those two together. And then over here, you have 8 wholes plus 3/4. So this one's going to be close. So I think we need to figure out exactly what 4/5 plus 2/3 is, since we think they're going to be really close. So get a common denominator of 15, which we learned how to do lessons ago, times 3 times 3. That's 12/15. Okay? And then 2/3 times 5, that's 10/15. So we have 12/15 plus 10/15. That's 22/15. Therefore, that's going to give us an extra whole, which would then make us 8. So now we'd have 8 and 7/15. 7/15, which is less than a half, is not as big as this. Therefore, 8 3/4 is bigger. So 8 3/4 should have the open mouth going towards it, or the greater than sign going towards it. So that's how they're going to do these types of problems tonight. They're going to use reasonableness and benchmark fractions to figure out these answers. They can figure them out exactly, creating a least common denominator, but they don't have to. They can use their logic with the benchmark fractions.